A lot of reveals in this chapter of Taizai. Elizabeth and Liz finding out about the Tyrant Dragon in Hawk, confirming resurrection or, reincarnation, and also the Pleiades at the end of the chapter with the Seven Sisters, and just so many different things going on in the chapter that I did not expect so much information at once. And we finally get one of the things that's been foreshadowed for a very long time. It is finally confirmed after reading this chapter, and I just did not expect to see a chapter like this. Like, when I was reading the chapter and I saw Elizabeth being confirmed that she is Liz, a reincarnation, which, let's be real here, let's face the facts. We all probably knew by now, if you've been reading this series, that Elizabeth was obviously Liz in some way. Maybe her child, reincarnation, some form of person that went through time, whatever. Just anything that's plausible like that, because there's just too many connections to Liz and Elizabeth that Meliodas has, and we've all kind of theorized that most likely it's some form of reincarnation. And from what we found out with this chapter, which is officially confirmed, there's no theory crafting, nothing. It's officially confirmed. So all that foreshadowing now is confirmed that it was leading up to this point. Elizabeth is Liz. Now, the main questions we have to wonder is, how did Elizabeth get reincarnated? That's the big question that pops into the mind. So what exactly happened? What caused her to be reincarnated? And exactly why does Meliodas know this? Like, how does he know that she is around? And why didn't he really try to do anything about her? Why doesn't he not really talk to her about what has happened in the past? Many questions I have, but that will be saved for the future, because for now we don't have much information, and I've talked about it many times beforehand in previous chapters when I talked about the possible foreshadowing of Elizabeth being Liz. So I feel like I shouldn't beat a dead horse because I've already talked about that. Let's move into other segments. We come to find out the reason why Elizabeth failed her training in last week's chapter, when she says she hasn't gotten any better at all and she's kind of not really stronger, was because of Zanelli fucking her over. Did not put the seed inside the cup for Elizabeth could get stronger and test her abilities and power. So yeah, we gotta find out the reason why Elizabeth didn't get any stronger, why she didn't really get to train, was because of the actions of someone else fucking with her training. And now seeing that, I'm like, okay, that's kind of fucked up. But we do get a little bit of character progression with Elizabeth with what she says with some of her dialogue. Elizabeth says that she will not complain anymore or be very upset about what happened, for instance, with her failing her test and not being able to grow stronger. She says she won't complain about it and worry about it too much and let it get to her because, since Meliodas has experienced the exact same thing over and over again through his trials of trying to get his power back because of his wrath. And so Elizabeth learned in this chapter she shouldn't really hold it against herself that she failed at least one time or maybe even a couple times. She will always have room for improvement. So a very good segment of this chapter of Taizai. Moving into one of the main things that's really interesting me right now with the current arc of Taizai is Hawk. I feel like the way this chapter was done with Elizabeth being confirmed that she is the reincarnation of Liz, it kind of, I guess, casually confirms that Hawk is the reincarnation of Wandel. I feel like that's kind of what this chapter was implying, but I feel like there's more to it now. The more I look at Hawk's situation, it seems like it's something else entirely. I mean, Hawk is able to absorb abilities from other creatures, and personally, I'm not that well with myth and mythology and stuff. I don't know everything, but I do know there is some creatures in myths that can absorb characteristics of other creatures and beings, and I wonder what Hawk is, because he could take on the appearance of other creatures, and it explains how if he was at one point or time a bird, how he could change into a pig. For instance, like if a pig, let's say, ate him, he might turn into a pig form. And that's kind of implying what is going on with Hawk. He got ate by a tyrant dragon, which in turn caused it to where he grew some dragon features in his body. For instance, he had dragon-type wings for his ears, he has horns, he can breathe fire out his nose. I mean, he has these different features that are kind of like a tyrant dragon. And so he has some form of ability to where he can absorb these different powers or characteristics of other creatures. And it makes me wonder, what really is Hawk, and how powerful can he really get? Like, is it implying that Hawk might get very powerful in the future, like very fucking strong, with his ability to kind of absorb a tyrant dragon? Because actually, let's take a moment to talk about this in the Tyrant Dragon real quick. Let's backpedal a couple of moments, or a couple of chapters, actually many chapters ago towards the beginning of the series. You remember at the beginning of Taizai when you had the Sins trapped in the tower when Bon and Meliodas first met in that tower, and then they were going to meet Bon and get him out of there? And remember how that barrier was put up, and supposedly, from what was said, I forget the exact knight's name, but the knight said that that barrier can hold back a Tyrant Dragon, and it's a very incredibly strong barrier because it has to hold back a Tyrant Dragon. That's what was said at the beginning parts of Taizai. And it was never brought up again, like, what this Tyrant Dragon looks like, or exactly more about it, more information, and so it just kind of got through to the side. But it's very interesting how Hawk was fighting a Tyrant Dragon, he got ate by it, now he has that abilities, or some form of its traits, on his body. So, it kind of confirms that Hawk is not really that weak now, if you think about it, because as we found out, a Tyrant Dragon was incredibly strong at the beginning part of Taizai. I mean, factoring in, the Ten Commandments to, the sins and different things like that, it's probably not that strong, but still, for Hawk to reach that type of level, it shows you he can improve. And I like the way this is going, because finally we're getting a mascot in a series that's not, I guess, kind of straight up useless. I mean, not just there for talking and comedy. There actually is a mascot that's slowly forming into something very powerful that might become one of the main icons of Taizai, depending on how it goes. Because many mysteries wrapped around Hawk, for instance, with the ability to come kind of back from life when he got killed by Hindi, and then also Wandel kind of being like hinted at he is reincarnated from Wandel. So many things, and it just makes you wonder, maybe the reason why Hawk has the ability to kind of be reborn is because he might have been eaten by a phoenix in the past. Think about it. I mean, if he could take abilities from other creatures, what if a phoenix or some form of a creature that can reincarnate ate Hawk? That is a very good possibility. So yeah, moving past that, we come to find out how much growth Hauser and Gilfunder has made in this little training arc they had. It seems to me that Hauser is now stronger than Gilfunder. Barely, but he is stronger than Gilfunder. So, well done, Hauser. Well done, Hauser. You're stronger than Gilfunder. But of course, the power levels are not really consistent. They can change depending on the situation. So, we really don't know. But at this time, Hauser is stronger than Gilfunder. So, way to go, Hauser. Now, besides that, we also have it to where Gowther is doing something with Arthur in this chapter. He's, like, stuck on him and just, oh my god, what's going on with Arthur? And the stuff with Fred and Grimoire when, Grimoire being a little baby, very fucked up shit. I just cannot get over the fact of how much of a third wheel Grimoire is right now in this arc. For him to be a part of the three misfits in the prophecy, he seems to be, like, kind of lacking at the moment. But besides that, the ending of the chapter kind of confirms that we're getting into an Escanor arc, and when I have my Escasson just popping up and going to be one of the main icons of the next arc, I cannot be more hyped, because Escanor is the fucking badass of the series. As I said in the side story of Escanor, Escanor has the huge amount of potential to be my best boy, my favorite best boy, and surpass Bon. After what I witnessed from him in that side story with what he did to the vampires, it was fucking impressive, and I loved it so much. I loved that shit. And then finding out in this chapter, which it is officially confirmed, that Escanor is stronger than Meliodas. Damn! So Escanor is confirmed to be stronger than Meliodas. That explains the weapon. Remember how I said in my side story reviews a long time ago when Meliodas had to drag Escanor's sacred weapon, but all of a sudden Escanor, when he powered up, he was holding the sacred weapon with one hand like it was nothing? It just goes to show you the strength difference between Meliodas and Escanor. And so to find out now that Escanor is stronger than Meliodas, my hype cannot be any higher right now to see my boy Escanor pop up in next arc. And then we also lead into the Pleiades, the, I guess, 7-star sisters. I think that's the exact name to it. And so we're going to have a new set of knights. That's probably going to be 7 knights, 7 girls to be exact. And I'm looking forward to them, to see how strong they are. They're another group of holy knights that might be on par with the 7 deadly sins. And hopefully we get to see more dynamics with them and, I guess, the 10 commandments. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.